Leaked footage. Ukrainians are using war-modified drones, striking 21,000 troops and 20 Russian battalions. For weeks, Ukraine's armed forces have been talking about launching a counter-offensive in southern Ukraine, and now a senior military officer has told the BBC they aim to recapture the city of Kherson within weeks. Instead of a major full-scale attack, they are planning to adopt a different strategy with a role for small drone units after their huge success in experimentation in small battles with the Russian forces. Before we head forward, make sure to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any update on the Russia-Ukraine war. A soldier of Ukraine's Special Operation Forces is operating a drone flying over Russian positions when he spots an armored vehicle hidden in trenches. "Fire when you're ready," he says in a voice message to an artillery unit. Russian lines are just 3 kilometers or 1.9 miles away, and the soldier has to hide his identity. His call sign is Maverick from the movie Top Gun. The task for Maverick and his team is to identify potential targets and pass on their exact coordinates. Then they watch and direct the artillery fire. Big guns make a big difference in this conflict. This is a war of artillery, high-tech weapons, and mines. The soldiers still play an important role, but success is mostly dependent on rockets, artillery, and airstrikes, says Major General Dmytro Marchenko, who successfully organized the defense of the southern city of Mykolaiv from Russian attack earlier this year in the season of spring. It's not like World War II when one big army attacked another, he argues. And this is what Russia's offensive has relied on in Ukraine's eastern and southern territories. Relentless barrages of Russian artillery pummel everything in their way, destroying military positions and residential areas. According to Ukrainian authorities, the Russians are sending an extra 30 battalion tactical groups and approximately 22,000 troops to the south to respond to Kyiv's much-boasted counteroffensive. The arrival of American HIMARS and M270 multiple rocket launchers has given Ukrainians the ability to destroy targets they couldn't reach before. But they say more are needed to counter Russian fire and to hit priority targets such as air defense ammunition depots and supply routes. Major General Marchenko believes they will take Kherson back in the near future, and in a matter of weeks. But in order to succeed, they need to breach what he calls Russia's static defense strategy. "We need to have 3 times more power quantity of weapons and artillery. Unfortunately, we don't have such an advantage. Therefore, we will act in a non-standard way to lure them out of their positions to equalize our power and resources." One of their non-standard tactics clearly involves artillery working in tandem with aerial reconnaissance groups that could help to split Russian forces into smaller groups and encircle them without taking heavy losses, which would be unavoidable in an open confrontation. "We have crossed the river inlets," explains Maverick, "and now we are trying to expand that ground, bring more equipment, and cut off the Russian forces here into 2 groups, Kakhovka and Kherson. A key part of their strategy is to sever Russian supply routes in the south." Major General Marchenko says that in just 2 weeks, Ukrainian armed forces have destroyed more than 20 ammunition depots in Kherson region, a huge number of command and control centers, and other targets including strategically important bridges. Bridges over the river Dnipro have been hit repeatedly at Kherson and Nova Kakhovka. Recent explosions at an air base and ammunition depot in Crimea appear to be part of the same plan, even if Ukraine has not officially acknowledged its involvement in those attacks. By identifying such targets and guiding artillery strikes is a dangerous job. Maverick and his colleagues are closely monitoring an attack on a Russian vehicle that they believe can jam Ukrainian communication signals. After a dozen rounds, the closest they can get to the target is 15 meters or 50 feet before Russian forces respond. The terrifying whistle of a Russian shell sends everyone rushing inside a hangar to take cover. Missiles rain down around us. Mounds of earth rise like a fountain as shells and missiles hit the ground. By now, the Russians would have known a drone team is directing artillery fire, and they have started bombarding the area at random expected coordinates where the Ukrainian drone team could be operating from. The drones are still out there, and Maverick and his teammate are desperately trying to get them back. "They've turned REB on," shouts Maverick, warning of an immediate threat from Russia's electronic signal jamming warfare system. With the satellite navigation down and the remote control signal lost, drones become uncontrollable and lost. The soldiers survived the onslaught unscathed, but they have lost one of their drones. Subscribe to our channel to stay updated on the Russia-Ukraine war.